You all, sorry if the camera's off. I have low vision for those of you who don't know. Sorry if you hear my rocket chair in the background. It's a rocket chair, as you can tell. I don't. But sorry if the camera's off. I have low vision. But today we're going to talk about the Ford Explorer, the history. It came out in the late 80s. But unfortunately, when the Ford Explorer came out, Ford was supposed to release a supercar. They created a car. They made the car, honestly. They made a couple of them, but never released it to the public. It was called the GN34. Well, that was later scrapped, and then they went to the Explorer. But we're getting into what they did with the super engines made by Yamaha. Yamaha did the heads and everything. You'll find that in my other video, how Ford and Yamaha worked together and made a vehicle that changed the world. You can find that in my other video. But the Ford Explorer is an SUV. You can get it in a 2-door model or a 4-door model back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. But unfortunately, they stopped making the Explorer in the United States. They're still making it overseas. And all of a sudden, in 2018, the Explorer came back as an SUV in America. And the Explorer that is awesome. They have the Explorer ST, the street package. That's a performance SUV with a lot of ponies under the hood and a lot of stuff. They also have a different editions. They even have a hybrid one. The hybrid one's awesome. It can get pretty good mileage. But the Explorer came in the wrong time, I would say. It would have stayed going in America if it wasn't for all the... Think about it. In 2008, we had the collapse, the housing crash and stuff. And that's right around the time that the last Explorers were made and stuff. It's sad, but the Explorer was based with the Ranger. If you know the Ford Ranger, they have the same engine, same nose. Go look at a Ford Ranger and a Ford Explorer. Same exact nose. All it was, the Ranger was the pickup version, and the Explorer was the SUV version. Like Chevy S10. The S10 was the pickup version. The Chevy Blazer was the SUV version. You may as well say the Chevy Blazer, Chevy S10, and the Ford Ranger and Ford Explorer. Chevy's model of the Ford Explorer was the Chevy Blazer. They were the same exact size. And the Chevy S10 was the same size as a Ford Ranger. But back to subject. The Ford Explorer slash Ranger isn't the same. Yes, I know it, but they were made through the same plant and stuff. That's why they have the same grille, same nose, same hood, same front fenders. You can use an SUV Explorer fender on a Ranger truck with the same year. I'm not sure if you knew that. But back to subject. Did you know they made an SHO never released version with the Yamaha 3.0 under the hood and the Yamaha 3.2 liter? Yes. But it never got released to the public. Kind of like the Showstar, the Windstar with the SHO engine in it. That's another vehicle that was never released to the public. You can Google it and look it up. And you found out in 1995 they were going to make a Windstar that was a high performance, but it never got released to the public. Yes, they did put 3.0s in them, but they never put the Yamaha 3.0s. The ones that had the dual overhead cam 24 valve. But the Explorer came with a 4.0 V6, and it also came with a 5.0 V8/302. Some people know the 5.0 as a 302. Some people know it as a 5.0. Well, my opinion, the best Explorer to get was the V8 back in the day. But I really think not all the time the engine mattered. But for those it did, because they were heavy for an SUV. They were bulky. Yes, they were small, but they still had a lot of weight to them. Now, if you weren't going to be pulling and weren't going to be going off-roading, I would suggest a 6-cylinder. But make sure what transmission they had. They had a couple different transmission options. And the one transmission model, the MXX, was known for transmission failure. It would fail. And the Explorer also is known for other things too. The frame where the leaf springs hook on in the rear was known for rotting right there. and you'd have to get a welder to weld the frame back together or patch it with a frame patch kit, or replace the rail completely by ordering a new frame rail through the dealership and welding it on. There was a lot of other little quirks with it, but the Explorer is an SUV that was made in the wrong time. You gotta remember, Ford had lawsuits from the Pinto. They had all kinds of things going on. And if they put more time and care into it, it could have been way better than it is. If they made it with the show engine, that would have been a bad truck. SUV, I call a truck because it sits like almost like a truck, but it's an SUV. But could you picture it? They put the 3.4 liter Yamaha / Cosworth SHO V8 under hood that they had in the Tauruses, how fast that would be? That would be an SUV. If anyone wants to do a mod to one of them, try the 3.4 liter SHO 96 to 99 Taurus engine. They made a V8 engine in 96 to 99 in the Taurus. It was called Taurus SHO. In the late 90s, they had a V8 under the hood, and they only came in an automatic, but you could special order an Allison transmission aftermarket because the transmissions in the late 90s, V8 lagged and wouldn't let the engine give out the power that it had to the wheels. Their transmission wasn't the best. But that engine was a monster of an engine. You just have to make sure if you ever do that build to your Explorer, make sure you weld the camshaft sprocket, because if you don't, it will break into an interference engine and it'll be catastrophic failure. Now, what is an interference engine? What is not an interference engine? I'll tell you quick before this video ends. An interference engine, if the timing lets go or if something goes wrong connected to the timing, then that lets go, your engine parts are still going to be ruined, and it's going to be catastrophic failure. They're not going to do what they're supposed to, and destroy your engine. Now, the non-interference engine, if your timing lets go or anything lets go, your water pump, say if your water's hooked to your timing, some cars ain't, some water pumps are hooked to the serpentine belt. But say if anything hooked to your timing goes, nothing will happen. Or if your timing jumps, guess what? A non-interference car, you fix the timing, the car start right back up with no damage. Now, an interference car won't do that. I highly recommend always get a car with a non-interference engine. That's just my opinion. You have your right to your own opinion. But see you all in the next cool video. Peace. Alright, stop recording.